This is an instructional video on how to make a 5-minute speech without notes. I'll start off with what Lao Tzu had to say about this. He says, "Those who know do not speak, and those who speak do not know." We take it to heart. The first time speaker takes it to heart that whatever he's going to say, he's going to be judged on it. And he himself becomes his own critic and falters because he judges himself so severely. He feels he underperforms because he is judging himself all the time. So, to make this a smoother transition and to make this an easier way of making a public speech, first is you have to know what to speak. What to speak. So there are many topics you would want to know, and you choose a topic and remember the pertinent points. You need 3 or 4 points in the whole subject matter which you can remember. I'm sure you can remember 4 things, maybe 5 things. But let's say remember 4, in the end you remember 3. But remember 3 stories. Think them as a story. You talk about a subject and you talk it as if you're talking a story to yourself. You can practice on the mirror. So this is one story 1, this is story 2, this is story 3. And let me put it this way, do an experiment. You want to say a story, you have a script written, you practice with that, and then you say it in front of the mirror without the notes. As long as you don't use the notes, whatever you are speaking, record it and transcribe it. There will be very little difference within the scripts. But let me tell you, only you know that. Only you know that. As far as listeners is concerned, they will listen to whichever version you give them. They don't know about all the various variations you have for the script and how many times you've gone off script. The main thing is to have a focus on what you want to say. Have 3 or 4 points. No more than that. Because when you have more, then you start speaking a little faster to complete what you have to say. When you speak a little faster, you don't breathe properly. So your diction is not right. You start forgetting things and you start feeling flustered. So everything is a round sort of a method of coming and stopping your speech process. Speech process, you have to be relaxed. For being relaxed, you have to be at the right pace. You can't go fast. You can for effect sometime, but you know you're doing it controlled. But if you're going all the time very fast and you know how to make it very important and all that, see, this is you're technically hyperventilating. This is wrong. And moreover, less is more. You see, less is more. You have to make your points less. Nobody's interested in your whole story. They just want to know 3 or 4 points which you can articulate well, and you can communicate what you have in your mind, and you tell them this is what you want. So this is what you do. And then you have to decide, why are you saying this? Because that also motivates the pattern and the expressions you're going to give of why you are making this speech. Are you trying to motivate? Or are you trying to, just give an evening entertaining speech? You want to inspire somebody? Or it's just a table topics of some kind? I mean, whatever I said, you have to know exactly why are you giving this speech, because that motivates and that is the basis on how you're going to put all the emotions behind it. And the third most important thing is, when are you going to speak? So at least you know to be ready before that. Remember, these are dialogues you're having with your own self. So if you're speaking in the evening, in the morning you'll do a little practice in front of the mirror. You have to practice. This is not like anything. You have to practice. Because stand in front of the mirror, speak your story. And then when the time comes, don't worry what happened. Even if there's slightly variation, just carry on, just carry on. And nobody will know that that is not the correct script. That is the trick. Okay, now I would like to ask, what do you see here? Oh. People say, I see a hand. Great stuff, great observation. Somebody says, I have a finger and 4 fingers and a thumb. Great stuff. But what I see here is a presentation for 20 minutes without notes. 20 minutes without notes. So how do we do that? With what I told you before, what you do is, this is your introduction. So you have to practice the introduction a bit. Maybe put a quote of some kind. Address your people. Say something which is catchy and sets the tone of the meeting, right? And then you have to remember your 3 points. Remember the 3 points? 1, 2, 3 stories. You can introduce your stories in between. You can talk about how it affected you, and whatever you remember, it is your story. Remember, as long as it makes sense in the end, go ahead and do that. 3 stories. This is 1 minute. This is 1 minute, 1 minute, and 1 minute. Now, in the end, what do you have? A conclusion? Okay. A conclusion is nothing else but the summary of the introduction of your story 1, story 2, and story 3. And that is your conclusion. And in the end, you finish your speech and everybody claps. Wonderful, wonderful work done. This is how to go about it. But now, let us conclude this whole thing as I'm telling you. So the first important thing is, do not get flustered. What you know in your mind, nobody else knows. Only you know. So whenever you speak, don't compare yourself to the script. That is going to change. Variation is going to happen. So don't worry about it. You go ahead and give your best. And then you find 3 stories. Find an introduction, 3 stories, and a conclusion. And there you have your 5-minute speech without notes. And always, always smile. Don't be angry on the screen. And good luck. And I'm sure if you use this method, you will really be a good speaker. Thank you very much. And God bless.